Jeffrey Dahmer by Kiya Jordan and Natalie Dion. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to parents Joyce Annette and Lionel Herbert Dahmer. During his childhood, he was found to be a shy kid, neglected and deprived of attention. In elementary school, he stored animal skeletons in formaldehyde, and as he entered adolescence, his compulsions toward necrophilia and murder began to show, and he turned to examining animal carcasses for entertainment, therefore exhibiting one of the characteristics of the McDonald triad. Around this time, he asked his father to show him how to bleach and preserve animal bones, and his father, mistakenly thinking of this as scientific curiosity, taught him. At 15 to 16 years old, he started drinking before, during, and after school. His parents got a divorce around this time. He thought his brother was the favorite in the family and found that he was homosexual, but he chose to repress these thoughts. He was on the tennis team and in the band and became known as the class clown of the school. He graduated from Revere High School in Ohio, and he went to college but dropped out due to his alcoholism. After his parents' divorce, his father lived in a local hotel and his mother left with his brother to live in Wisconsin. So in 1982, he moved into his grandmother's house to seek help for his alcoholism. In May 1990, he moved out from her house into an apartment in downtown Milwaukee. Around this time, he showed little to no interest in hobbies or social interactions. So he enlisted in the Army and became a medical specialist, but was honorably discharged in 1981 due to his drinking problem. In 1986, Dahmer was convicted and sentenced to 1 year in jail for an incident at his job at the Ambrosia Chocolate Factory where he drugged and sexually fondled a 13-year-old boy, but was released after serving a partial sentence. Dahmer's first kill was in 1978 when he was only 18 in his childhood home in Bath, Ohio, where he murdered hitchhiker Stephen Hicks with a barbell, dismembered his body, and buried his remains underneath his house. In November 1987, he drunkenly took a man he had drugged back to a hotel and woke up to find that he had beaten him to death. He took the body back to his grandmother's home and dismembered his victim. After his second murder, he knew he would continue to kill, targeting men, specifically African American men, finding them at gay bars, malls, and bus stops. He had decided to stop attempting to control his desires. He was careful to select victims on the fringes of society, who were often borderline criminal, making their disappearances less noticeable. His usual routine was drugging the victim, having sex with them, strangling them to death, then dismembering them, usually with an electric buzzsaw. Once the bodies started piling up, he bought and filled a 57-gallon drum with acid to dissolve the bodies. He once told the police that he fried a victim's bicep and ate it, thinking that they would become a permanent part of him. In some cases, he attempted to make zombies by drilling holes into the bodies and injecting acid inside of them, but none of them worked. Dahmer was a smart and manipulative man. For example, 2 months before his arrest, neighbors called the police about a naked boy they had seen wandering on the street outside Dahmer's apartment. The officers who came questioned Dahmer and believed his explanation that he and the boy were living together and were just having an argument. After they left, Dahmer killed the boy. He was finally caught in July 1991 when Tracy Edwards managed to escape Dahmer's apartment and flag down police. They found 83 Polaroids of Dahmer's victims in various stages of decay, along with frozen skulls, limbs, and other body parts strewn around the house. He seemed defeated and nervous when arrested, and as he sobered up, he realized the severity of the situation. He had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, and a psychotic disorder, yet he was found to be legally sane at his trial and was given 15 life sentences. He was killed in 1944 after being bludgeoned by a metal bar by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver. He had survived the initial attack, but died on the way to the hospital. Dahmer was quite organized in the fact that he was able to kill and dismember for 13 years until he was finally caught. He knew how to dispose of the bodies so that no one knew what he was doing behind closed doors. He was a hedonistic type of serial killer. He was motivated by the lust and thrill he obtained from killing his victims.